As sad as this may sound to the general public, I truly mean this that when I say, in my life, I've found that I get very little enjoyment out of a lot of things. I don't have a passion for a lot of things other than what I'm interested in. One of those things is professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is one of those things that for some reason, every time I watch it, I'm just happy. I feel happy to watch it. Now, it hasn't always been this way. I mean, granted, I've made several videos, whether it was through EBCW or my recent wrestling commentaries, how it wasn't always that way, and how I was super critical of the product at one point to the point where I didn't even enjoy the business as a whole anymore. And I've discussed this in a previous video, but I don't know. I've kind of, now that I've had this whole shift in my mindset of what it means to be a fan of wrestling, you know, when you don't basically take being super critical as a job. Well, I mean, a lot of people do have to do it for a job, which, you know, it is what it is at that point. But I mean, I don't let them influence what I think of the product and stuff like that, which is what was happening as well. So the whole point of this video today is basically telling you guys a little bit of a story that happened very recently, just this past Sunday, and that has everything to do with the fact of, you know, the recent AEW Revolution pay-per-view. Now, I actually watched the pay-per-view through my friends who were streaming it on Discord. I actually joined my friend Jared's Discord and watched like the first few matches there, had a grand old time, got in touch with some old friends of mine that I haven't spoken to in quite some time, and then I went back to I think it was my actual podcast server, which for those of you who don't know, 69 Whiskey does have a podcast, or 69 Whiskey has a server for the podcast. And what happened there was we sat there, hung out with Eric and a few other of my friends, some of them who I've spoken to briefly in other occasions, but haven't really spoken to them as much over the years since I've graduated college. And, you know, I had this realization throughout the course of the show, especially towards like the latter half of the show, which to me is when the show actually started to really get like pretty solid until the ending, which I'll get to. Because at that point, you know, they're having all the gimmick matches. They're having the ladder match. They're having the street fight with Darby and Sting, which was fucking phenomenal, and it was easily one of my favorite matches on the show. And we were just sitting there reacting to the absolute insanity of that match. And then the barbed wire death match with Mox and Kenny. And it was just, that was fucking mental, and everyone was losing their shit off that, and we were all cringing hard at the possibility of what was happening, not even at the possibility, at what was happening and the possibility of what could happen next. And I even said as a joke, I was like, I'm appalled, entertained, and actually maybe possibly incredibly aroused. And that was a joke. So, and everyone got a good kick out of it. But all in all, it felt nice to sit there and talk to my friends. To, you know, like I said, I'm very bad at keeping up with people. I have this thing where, and I think everyone really has it as well, they just don't want to admit it, where sometimes you reach out to someone you haven't spoken to for a while, and you think of your interaction with them, or your attempt of an interaction, as a moment of bother for them. Like, you think you're inconveniencing them by you reaching out. And sometimes, who knows, that might be the case. But that's something I have with me where it's like, that's why I don't really do a good job of keeping up with certain people. Because I feel like I haven't spoken to them in so long, like, why the fuck are they going to talk to me? And in my experience in both those Discord servers, I just had so much fun. I had so much fun talking shit with people. I had so much fun laughing, reacting to the show as it was going on. I just felt happy. And this Facebook post and tweet, because I did it on both my Facebook and my Twitter. This post I had pretty much sums up the entire night for me that happened on Sunday. And I quote, "Honestly, it's really nice to hop into Discord servers and watch wrestling pay-per-views with my friends, some of whom I haven't spoken to much in years. Professional wrestling really does bring us all together, and it makes me happy." And that's pretty much how I can sum up that whole night. I felt really happy, not even just by the show I was watching, because I think I've made it apparently clear that there are certain aspects of AEW that are not my cup of tea. And sometimes, and for some reason, I can actually sit in Discord servers and watch AEW pay-per-views with my friends and not so much WWE pay-per-views with my friends. I don't really know why. I don't know. It's strange. I can't describe it even if I wanted to. But with AEW, I guess it's easier for me to just sit back and watch what's going on. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I don't really take AEW too much seriously as I do with other companies. Because it's just, again, not my cup of tea with some of the things that they do and how they run their business. But I did really enjoy the show, and I think part of that enjoyment came from the fact that I was watching it with all my friends, and I just felt super happy, super elated. And even at the end of the show, I want to get to that. Like, at the end of the show, we all thought that everything was going to end. A couple of people had already left because, like, oh, all right, that's the end of the show. They're going to go end the pay-per-view. And then the whole explosion thing happened. Now, granted, I think everybody was more or less upset at what had happened based on what was promised to us, quote-unquote, or what was hyped up for us, quote-unquote. And I don't know, it just, like, when that happened and the poof, so to, like, if you want to call it that, happened, and everyone's like, that's it? And then we're all laughing at Eddie Kingston. I mean, I love Eddie Kingston. I feel so bad for that fucking bastard. He sat there and sold the shit out of that. And I thought to myself, Eddie Kingston's one of the few people that I think takes this craft as seriously as anybody else does in the wrestling business. Like, this is what he does, and he is a fucking professional. I bet even he fucking thinks he's a jerk off for doing what he's doing right now. That's how serious he takes his job. So that's one thing I had said. And I felt so bad. We're all just sitting there laughing our asses off at what's going on. And after the show, when I left the one server with Eric and I went to Jared's server, we're still talking shit about the whole thing. And we're just like, what the fuck was that? You know, it was fun. It was a nice little interactive moment that we all had together. And it just, I don't know. Again, it was one of those things where it's like, I look back on it and it's like, I haven't spoken to a lot of these people in quite some time. Some people I haven't even barely spoken to since high school. And the only reason I know that, I know them, I still talk to them now, is because they're actually dating people that I went to college with. So that's a whole mess in itself. I'm not going to get too much into that. But it was just funny. I don't know. I felt really happy. And I guess there's really no other way I could describe it. So, that being said, this match is more or less coming to an end. I guess I should talk about this a little bit. This was a triple threat match I had on Universe Mode. I decided, fuck it, I haven't played WWE 2K17. And I popped that in, played this match, thought this was a good match to record. I was like, fuck yeah, man. I picked DDP, who's the current World Heavyweight Champion in this Universe Mode. And I don't really remember when he won the title. I'd have to go back and watch 2K17's EBCW season, but as you can tell, I just got the pin there, and it was a good match, man. It was a nice little quick match and it was a good match for this length of a video that I'm putting out for you guys today. So, with that being said, you guys can all check me out on the social media links you see down in the description below. Of course, subscribe and turn notifications on if you want to see more uploads. For some reason, I'm still growing, and I don't know what videos are doing that, but hey, if you're new here, thanks for coming by. It's the type of content you're going to see. Sometimes I do rants, sometimes I talk about serious topics, sometimes I talk about wholesome shit like I'm talking about right now. So, I hope you guys enjoy that. And of course, you can always check out the 69 Whiskey Podcast. New episodes drop every Friday, or mostly every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And hope you guys continue to support us on there as well. Wherever you get your podcast, odds are 69 Whiskey is on there. Join the 69 Whiskey Army today. That being said, thank you guys so much for joining me on today's video. I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great day, and peace out.